Okay, we are going to go ahead and come to order. Ms. Morgan, will you please call roll?
Chairman Langley.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here.
Mr. Barrett.
Present.
Ms. Cheeves.
Here.
Ms. Davis. And Ms. Kirkpatrick.
Here.
Okay, a quorum is established, and this is a special called meeting to meet with Ms. Womack today. And Ms. Womack, if you'll go ahead and come forward and sign in with Ms. Morgan. And Commissioners, as we are aware, we are looking at a certificate of appropriateness for alteration or chimney removal at 132 North Northington Street. And this is Miss Carrie Womack. Come on up, Carrie. Rick sent you alone today?
He did. He's out of town.
I gotcha. We'll give him a pass on that.
I told him that he owes me big time.
He does owe you for that. If you'll just go ahead and explain to us a little bit about what your problem is.
Okay.
And then what you have done, what y'all have done to either correct the problem or look into, because I know it's probably more than what you can, do yourselves, look into what you have already explored for solutions to this, and just kind of preface us with that.
Well, we're missing bricks in our chimney, and it's deteriorating. The mortar in the bricks are deteriorating, and so we're having water leak in, and we have some water damage in Logan's bathroom and in the guest bathroom and in one of the cabinets. So we called out Top Hat Chimney, and he said that he could reface it, but it would be extremely expensive, and even if he did, it would still not be usable. So his suggestion to us was just to take it down and shingle over the roof, because we'd have to completely take all the bricks down anyway. So, I mean, that's as far as we've gone. The roof is so steep, we have not tried to get up there ourselves.
Okay, if you'll have a seat, and we'll let Mr. Duke come up, and then you'll have the opportunity for the commissioners to ask you questions back and forth just a little bit.
Good afternoon. All right. As far as the application is concerned, this would really be covered by the section in your residential design guidelines dealing with masonry. That's page 23 and 24, pages 23 and 24 of your guidelines. And it's possible you can consider this to be an architectural feature of the house, but it's generally covered mostly under masonry. And the points or guidelines that are most relevant to this application are a statement that historic masonry should be retained and maintained, should be cleaned in response to severe staining and buildup. Number 4, historic masonry should be visible, remain visible and untreated. Exceptions are bricks that have lost their protector outer coating, in which case they may be painted, or if repairs have failed to stop water from getting into the bricks, in which case water repellent coatings might be used. Deteriorated or damaged masonry, this is number 5, should be repaired, and missing elements should be replaced. And the materials used in that replacement should replicate the original masonry in appearance. So those are the guidelines that are most relevant to this application. Just like with all historic features, and especially on structures such as this one that are contributing to the National Register District, you want to look seriously at what efforts or what could possibly be done to retain that element if possible. You also should consider whether or not that element is that integral to the appearance of the building. If you determine that it's not, then removal might be possible without really injuring the integrity of the historic structure. So those are your areas where you need to look at this application, and certainly the matter of having a leak that needs to be repaired is an important consideration. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are there any other questions for Mr. Duke, or are there any questions, I should say, for Mr. Duke?
I want to ask Carrie a question.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Womack, come on back up here. Mr. Price would like to ask
I
you a
just
question.
wondered, did they tell you approximately how much it might cost to repair
$5,000.
$5,000?
Yes, sir.
Do you, I'm sorry.
They would have to take the entire chimney down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did you mention? Sorry. Did you mention that Top Hat was the name of the company that you contacted? Correct. They said they couldn't even if they refaced it, they couldn't guarantee you wouldn't have water leak again.
He said that the bricks would have to be replaced. You know, they'd have to redo that whole thing. But he said the chimney would never be usable, the way it twists and turns. So to spend $5,000 on something that we can't use.
On a decoration.
Yeah. So he said our best bet would be to just take it completely down.
Did he give you a quote on that?
He said he has not. We've gotten a quote on to take it down and to reshingle it would be about $500.
That's a big difference.
A huge difference.
Did y'all ever use that fireplace?
No, sir.
You said that missing brick?
There's missing bricks that have already fallen out, and he said that it could crumble and start falling. More could fall, and the kids on the side of the house playing and that kind of thing.
I'm just looking at the pictures that are in our application. It does look, to me, fairly unstable. Like, I believe that it could crumble at any point. I think the question here is more of, should this be retained if it does pose a hazard like that? And I think that's more the question. Is this a hazard or something that we could actually even consider leaving up? I look at it more as a hazard at this point.
Did he give you any, various recommendations, or he was just strictly it would have to be taken down and built back up? Would there be any option to, removing the top view and then, like our recommendations say, sealing it, or I don't know, it says a type of painting, but I'm sure that's a special type situation.
He said all the mortar and everything, the way that they used to make it is, it's just
old
turned
and
into
crumbled.
sand and it's just crumbling. So basically, I think it would just have to be completely redone with different bricks.
And it's just the one, you only have the one chimney
I think there's another chimney, but it's already been replaced.
removed?
I think it was replaced with just what they use for chimneys today.
Okay.
It's not. It was done before we were there.
Do we have that, Joel?
Where's that located?
Oh, is that,
It's on the last picture, last page.
which one, Kate?
Shows it be on the north side of the house. It's just a metal.
We have not used it. The one with the chimney that's crumbling, or the other one. We have not used it. We haven't had anyone to come in to check it to make sure it was okay, and we didn't want to use it before. And it's just in the dining room, so we're not in there that much.
Have you thought of, is there another company that you could have checked with? Or do you know? I don't know anything about chimney company.
I think basically I think there may be one other chimney service in town. Possibly. I don't know. My husband contacted him. We had used him before. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we've called roofers.
Well, I don't want you to have to spend that much money. I mean, it's just kind of a part of that house that I think should be retained if possible, but, you know, I understand the money part.
Just looking at the receipt from Top Hat Chimney Service, I mean, they're a certified chimney sweep with their license number there, and the recommendation is it wouldn't be favorable for them to recommend something like this. So, I have no reason to think that they weren't upfront about it. And you've already spent nearly $100 in getting this evaluated. I feel like the diligence has been done on your part, and now we just need to decide what to do with it. And looking at the pictures of the chimney, it looks like several bricks have been replaced in the past. It looks like the colors are mismatched. I don't know if that's just from aging or what, but top to bottom, it does not look secure. I think taking off the top bricks that you see broken up there is not going to fix the problem, because you can tell the mortar's eating away all the way down to the base of the chimney.
Mr. Duke, can I ask you? I know you're not a chimney company or chimney sweep yourself, but are you familiar with, any of the recommendations that our policies recommend as far as, the water repellent coatings and the protective outer coatings and
Well, but
I mean, I totally understand Carrie's problem, definitely. And as I stated years ago, whenever I first came onto this commission, I don't want what we're doing to keep young couples or, families from buying the old houses, like I have done and Kate has done and what we all just about have done, to be cost prohibitive, to it only being for the wealthy, to come in and do that sort of thing. And so I definitely understand what the Womacs are going through, but then on the flip side, I'm just curious as to the pricing of something like that, or if a chimney is in such decay that, even that would not help at all. I understand that this particular chimney service, they're not necessarily a restoration type thing. I don't know. Are you familiar with anything?
well, what your guidelines describe really would be the way you would handle any kind of deteriorating mortar, even if you just had a brick facade, like you have on most of the newer houses in town. At some point, that mortar is going to decay to the point where it needs to be either scraped out a little bit and what they call repointing the mortar, and that is definitely the case with the chimney. The chimney is a little different in that it is not really an exterior covering over the house. This is structural, and this is very much like our buildings downtown, which the bricks are a structural component of the building. There's no other support for this chimney except for the bricks. So the course that's been recommended to basically take it down and build it back up is probably the most likely, the best way to ensure the structural integrity. Certainly, if you were looking at it, you could come back in and repoint it. But again, as I was discussing with Ms. Womack earlier, depending on the age of the bricks, they may be very similar to some of our downtown buildings where they have a very tough outer coating, but once that outer coating is eroded away or chipped away, they're fairly soft on the interior, not like a modern brick where it's fired all the way through. So, all of those things need to be taken into consideration. It's possible you could come back and rebuild this or come back and repoint the mortar and it still leak. And that seems to be the major issue, is that this is not a chimney. If you look at your guidelines, you can see that some of the chimneys shown as an example, such as the ones on the Barnes house here on Court Street, there's very little of that fireplace that is connected to the building. Most of that is freestanding, very much like the ones that are over here on the museum next door. They don't create that larger problem if there's a leak. This one, once that water gets inside the wall, it creates a real issue. So, I think those are all things that need to be taken into consideration. If you're looking at cost, you could come in there and do a good bit of work on this and still not solve the real issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments for Mr. Duke? Okay. If there are no further questions, we have had ample opportunity to look into this and think about this. Is there a recommendation? Is there a motion to be made at this time?
I'd like to make a motion that, based on the fact that there's already been one chimney replaced on here with a modern chimney, and based on the fact that this is posing a significant possible hazard, and based on the fact that there's water being infiltrated because of this brick chimney, and there's no guarantee that it can be stopped completely without removing the chimney, I recommend that we grant the request to have the chimney removed and shingled over.
Okay, the motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Chair votes aye.
Nay.
That's a tough call. I wish the chimneys were on my house. Aye.
With 4 ayes and 1 nay, it does pass. So thank you for coming, and thank you for everything y'all have done to preserve the integrity of the home. I know this is not something that y'all have asked for and chosen to do, willingly. I know it's a struggle for you too, but thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Duke, do you have anything that you need us to discuss? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor say aye. And
Aye.
we will see you at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Which is? I don't have a calendar in front of me. What? The 28th of February. And please lower your seats.